Hello everybody and welcome back to PlaystationFollower. My name is Christian and today things are going to get a little wild west, that is, because today we're discussing aspects of Red Dead Redemption 1 that could be carried over to its sequel, Red Dead Redemption 2, specifically characters. Now, after the most recent trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2, we have confirmation that our favorite outlaw turned hero, John Marston, will be returning as a part of the Vanderlyn gang in Red Dead Redemption 2. We also got a shot of who is presumably Uncle from Red Dead Redemption in the trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2. He's gathered around a campfire with his little hat and his beard. It's probably Uncle. So Rockstar is definitely okay with carrying over characters from this world in the prequel that takes place before the events of Red Dead Redemption 1. So I've gathered together a few characters and we're going to go through each of them in order of least likely to most likely making an appearance or cameo or some sort of reference in Red Dead Redemption 2. Considering what the story of Red Dead Redemption 1 is and John Marston encountering all these characters for the first time, there is an opportunity to have some cameos in here, at least in the background, very minor things, not huge story encounters, specifically because we're playing as Arthur Morgan, a new protagonist who very well could have met these people in the past, while John was being the kid he is in the game, and not really focusing on the adult business of everything.
You that fella from the train company?
No, I'm from Fort Mercer.
Fort Mercer? You them, one of them Williamson boys.
Calm down.
Go on, shoot him, mister. Shoot him.
Come on, what, you getting kicked with me, boy?
What's going on here?
I got me one of them Williamson boys.
I got me one of them idiots who give marshals a bad name.
Jonah, put your gun down.
So first up is Lee Johnson. You may not remember the name, but you'll remember the face and the interaction because Lee Johnson is the Marshal of Armadillo, one of the first populated towns John encounters after his first encounter with Mr. Bill Williamson. Marshal Lee Johnson is a pretty strong character. He's very set in his ways, he's a good sheriff, the town loves him, and John respects him as a man. Lee is also aware of John's criminal background, but he does not really judge him. He judges John based on his actions. So, he's a man of the law, and considering that this time around in Red Dead Redemption 2 we're going to be focusing on the outlaws, we may have a few encounters with some lawmen, specifically Lee Johnson. Whether he's a deputy or a sheriff at the time of Red Dead Redemption 2's story remains to be seen, but there's a chance we could run into him if we do visit the saloon or any of the stores in Armadillo.
Whole world has problems, mister. And I'm here, doing what I can.
Next up is another character tied to a location from Red Dead Redemption, and that is Drew McFarlane. Right off the top of your head, you might not remember the name Drew McFarlane. That's because he's kind of a minor character who retired and gave his life's work to his daughter, Bonnie McFarlane.
Did you meet my father? John Marston, this is my father, Drew McFarlane.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Marston. Please. So, my daughter informs me that you're here on some secret mission to remove some undesirables from the county.
Something like that. I'm grateful for the hospitality, sir.
Well, you know, we've lived here for 30 years now.
That's right, there's a chance we could visit the McFarlane Ranch again. Considering where McFarlane Ranch is located is just north of Armadillo and just west of Blackwater, we have some opportunity for exploration. If that leaked map is confirmed to be true, we might be able to visit the outskirts of the map and at least see out at McFarlane Ranch in the distance of the map. That aside, Drew McFarlane, very prolific farmer and ranch owner, so we could see him in town selling his wares, drinking at the bar, talking about his family, maybe talking about his daughter Bonnie. But since he's a retired old man during his time in Red Dead Redemption 2, we could see him at maybe the height of his career or the initial downcline where he's passing on the right of the ranch to Bonnie, his daughter, and our future savior as John Marston. Next up is one that is pretty likely considering he's a very prolific character in the first Red Dead Redemption, and that is Nigel West Dickens.
And I can tell you with no uncertainty that miracle cures are no laughing matter. I bid you good day, sir. Oh, Mr. Marston, good to see you. How have you been keeping?
I'm well, Mr.
Mr. West Dickens. Nigel West Dickens of East Cheap, London, New Waverly, New York, and Armadillo, New Austin. At your service.
At my service.
At everyone's service. At the service of science, of knowledge, of life.
So, Nigel West Dickens was the snake oil salesman that you met in Red Dead Redemption. You helped him out, you fought off his angry customers who were pissed off at him for selling them snake oil, and everything else about Nigel West Dickens is pretty much what you would expect from a character like that. However, first encounter with him, you might just have him pegged as one sort of guy, but he actually plays a pretty big role in the story moving forward. Specifically, once you gather your squad together and go after Bill Williamson, Nigel West Dickens is the one who allows for the Trojan horse invasion of Williamson's base, so John can get all up in his business and murder him like the government is ordering him to do. So Nigel West Dickens, again, I think it's pretty likely we get some sort of reference to him. I don't think he shows up in the game considering he's a big old city man who comes out to the west. But we could very easily see flyers, newspapers, some sort of dialogue options between some characters in the background, some NPCs talking about this weird old man selling them lies and tricks.
Strength. And for you men of physical skill and athletic physique, this miraculous elixir can keep the muscles supple and relax the cords. It loosens the joints and gives a feeling of vigor and freshness to the whole system. Why, some men have reported to me that after drinking it for 1 month, they can chew through steel.
What the hell? It's a trap! This way, come on!
Now, going to the most likely cameo appearance of any character in Red Dead Redemption 2 that was featured in the first Red Dead Redemption, we come to Landon Ricketts.
Can I see the boots, gringo?
I think you can see him from where you're standing just fine, senor.
Take off the boots, Americano.
As you wish.
Oh, very good. Very good indeed, sir. What a great way to improve border relations. An illiterate farmer crossing the river, coming into their civilization and butchering the local peasants. Thank you very much, sir.
Don't mention it, old man.
You kill peasants, you become a peasant.
I never aspired to be anything more.
Now, in this world, Landon Ricketts is very much this iconic Clint Eastwood character. He's the gunslinger, he's the legend, he's the modern day in 1900. Mythological, is he real? Are these stories true? He's this legend of the West in this world. In Red Dead Redemption, we see John Marston's first encounter with Landon Ricketts. However, we are told John Marston is familiar with Landon Ricketts because of all the stories he was told as a kid. Landon Ricketts is a famous gunslinger who was very active in the late 1800s. He killed the Butcher Brothers in 1896, and he was a part of the Blackwater Massacre that was referenced in Red Dead Redemption, which took place in 1899. A little bit after the initial setup of what the trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2 tells us timeline-wise, but we could very easily see height of his career, Landon Ricketts encounter the Vanderlyn gang in Red Dead Redemption 2. Ricketts retired in 1902, so anytime before then that the game takes us, we could very well see him fooling around in the Old West, being a great gunslinger cowboy, and seeing the legend become reality.
I'm a fighter, sir, and I'll fight to the end. I think we should get going.
So those are some of the characters from Red Dead Redemption that could very easily show up in Red Dead Redemption 2. I really do think that Landon Ricketts has a huge chance of showing up, just considering how big of a name he is in the West and what the story of Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be. Everybody else, though, is pretty much up for grabs. Rockstar, again. GTA, they never really fully explore cameos, but since Red Dead is its own contained, serialized full timeline of a story, we could see some certain characters reappear here, even if GTA doesn't have a ton of evidence for us to go on. Even though John Marston first encounters several characters in Red Dead Redemption for the first time, like I said earlier, Arthur Morgan, new character, different person, he could very easily encounter some of the familiar faces, at least in passing or in conversation. So what do you guys think? Are you excited for Red Dead Redemption 2? Do you think we have a chance of seeing some of these characters return? What do you think of my ideas? Do you think Landon Ricketts is a lock like I do? Be sure to keep it locked on PlaystationFollower throughout the entire month of May, leading up to E3 in June. We've got some big news coming, we got some big changes coming that I'm sure you're all gonna like. But until next time, greatness awaits, and I'll see you all in the next video.